Hey, Shawn Clement here, Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, headquarters for Wisdom in Golf. And we have a nice, wonderful little fine-tuning with the lead hand today, okay? Now, I put a golf ball up against my favorite door frame. And for many of you, because you don't have the proper mental picture, all right? And I just played some golf with Ray, my massage therapist, over the weekend, and we were doing some really nice headway on the range and striking some really swell golf shots. And then all of a sudden, you know, we went. I haven't played with him since last year, and I noticed that something, you could see that there were some issues with the way he was seeing things on the golf course. So what he tended to do in the backswing is that his upper body would drift back in the hopes of trying to lift the ball in the air. You could see that there was something not visually proper in the way he saw things. And so, because his lead hand is his dominant hand, so he plays left-handed golf, but his dominant hand is his right hand, we're going to do a little lead hand, and this is something that we need to continue polishing ourselves. So if I was left-hand dominant, or if you feel that you need to train that lead hand because it feels a little too weak in your opinion, I'm going to put this golf ball against the door frame, and I'm going to set up in a way where I feel that, okay, number one, you remember the grip acid test. So if I swing back and through without stopping, release, so I feel like I'm supporting the club nicely through that snuff box, it's hinging nicely, right under the thumb, release, re-support. So I'm feeling some really nice support in both directions. Now we're going to do a little experimentation here. So if I open the face too much, and I want to try and pin this ball up against the door frame, so you'll notice that that's going to be really difficult to do. So I'm going to have to do some fancy body adjusting to try and square that up. And now I'm in a very compromised position, of course. So if I close it too much, and I want to pin it against, you can see how I'm probably going to be leading way too deep with that hand to square it up. So where do I need to place the club to feel like I can really pin that ball nicely against the door frame with my lead hand? And you notice how that lead hand now, the back of that hand is nice and firm, and if I put some pressure against the door frame, I can feel the pressure through my fingers here and through my hand and through the back of the hand. That's where I'm going to feel that leverage to apply that compression. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is if you cut through some tees. So if I took my trusty mat right here and I wanted to cut through that rubber tee here, I'm going to use this as a great demonstration. So if I open the face too much, I'm coming in, I want to cut it, that's way too open. If I close the face too much, I'm going to have to really lead too much, good. And if it's strongish too strong, now it feels like, oh yeah, look at that. So I can lead the handle nice and forward, the club face is nice and square, and now it feels like, yes, this would definitely be the right position for me to swing through on. So I'm going to cut through that tee and feel, what is it that I need to feel that I can apply a nice cut to the tee. So if I go back here to that ball on the door frame, now my attention's on the sole of the club, and I want to feel like I'm cutting through that dandelion stem and using the door frame as a cutting board to pressurize it, to pressurize that cut into the board. So now I can put both hands on and really feel how I'm squeezing against it. Now, if I drift it off, now it feels like I'm lunging, and that's what was happening to Ray. And if I get ball bound, well, now it feels like I'm driving it into the floor, and I'm going to hit the floor too hard. What do I need to do to squeeze it into the door frame? Got it into the door frame, so notice I'm not drifting off the door frame. Got it into the door frame. So notice how I feel like I can really pin that thing against the door frame, or I can cut the dandelion stem firmly into that door frame as well with the sole of the club. So this is the sensation I want you to get with that lead hand, and you'll really feel how that lead arm is right up against the chest here on the way through, and we're going to get into that in future videos. There's a lot of you, when you have the right distance between you and the ball, you have a tendency to feel a little bit bunched up. Well, yeah, at impact, you're using the whole body to compress that golf ball. So as I go back, out of the way, my arms levitate up. It feels like my arms are free. Now I'm going to go, drive that ball with this weight into the door frame. Notice how my upper arms are now connected to my rib cage. Your body is designed to do this for you. Then you can compress the ball here and release the ball there, and then the arms are going to disconnect again from the body with that excess momentum. Okay? So you'll see that in Bubba Watson's swing. It goes wide and up, down through impact, very connected, very solid, and then out and wide again. Same with Jack Nicklaus. So might as well do it right now. Wide and up. Then I'm coming back into impact, and you notice how I'm getting ready to drive that club into the door frame. I'll do it on this end. There we go. See that? Now it feels like my whole body is connected. The inside of my pecs and the inside of my biceps are connected together, and it feels like I can really compress through that ball, and then whoosh, on the way out here, and now everything's free again on this side. Again, the arm swing and body turn are built and designed to coordinate with each other as you're swinging toward the target. Today, I was talking to Tim, and we were focusing on throwing the club to the target, and he kept on pulling the shots. He says, well, I'm trying to fire my hips. Again, through prior instruction, he still felt the need to fire his hips because he thought that that's what we were supposed to do. Well, could you imagine? I'm coming in here, I'm going to fire my hips. Well, now I'm raking my whole body, my arms across my body this way. Everything's going to go off to the left. And so if you have to think about body parts, then you're really messing with how your body is supposed to. How do you know how much to fire the hips, for how long to fire the hips, and how far through to fire the hips, because you don't really have a target in mind when you're doing that. Your mind's over here. It can't be two places at once. However, if you're squeezing the ball through the door frame and out to the target, your hips will clear at exactly the right amount, and your body will shift exactly at the right time for that to happen, because we got to go get the ground first, then we're using the ground to remove the body out of the way, and that's when my hips are firing. And then all that is in relation to me going to a very specific target. So I am squeezing the ball to the target, I'm cutting through the dandelion stem to the target, but today, this is the visual I wanted you to get, was squeeze. Notice where my head is. I'm not drifting away, I'm not getting in front, I am staying with the task of lead hand squeezing ball into door frame and lead hand cutting through the dandelion stem into door frame. That's the sensation I'm going to have right here, okay? And that's how you get to those proper positions, is through the proper task. Enjoy that.